With masks now required statewide in Montana, what can you expect at church this weekend? Plus, a big announcement regarding the upcoming football season at the University of Montana. Jack Ginsburg brings us an update. And later, renowned politician John Lewis dead at the age of 80. We'll take a look back at the life and legacy of a civil rights icon.
From Montana's news leader, this is the MTN 530 News.
Thanks so much for spending your Saturday with us. I'm Matt Holzaffel. The Missoula County Sheriff's Office has announced that the victim of a fatal motorcycle accident near Sealy on Monday was 59-year-old Tracy William Merritt from Helena. Montana Highway Patrol reported that Merritt died following a Monday afternoon motorcycle crash near Sealy Lake on Highway 83. MHP says the Helena resident was driving a Harley-Davidson heading southbound towards Sealy Lake when he hit a deer. The motorcycle then overturned, went off the road, and struck a tree. A 63-year-old woman was also on the motorcycle. She was transported to a nearby hospital. MHP reports that alcohol, speed, and drugs are not suspected factors in the crash. Both riders were wearing helmets. Well, masks are now required in certain situations in many counties across Montana. With this new mandate comes a series of frequently asked questions. MTN's Lindsay Hyatt unmasked the answers you've been looking for.
Now that face masks are required in counties across Montana, you might be faced with some questions about the garment that's become a permanent accessory.
So masks should cover both your mouth and your nose. Having them under your nose like this, you're still exposing people to particles. So we want to make sure it does cover your nose and down below your chin so it covers your mouth.
But how often should you wash after you wear?
I think at a minimum, you should be looking at every week if you're using them kind of intermittently. If you're using them all day long, every day, you're going to look at probably a higher frequency of washing those cloth masks.
So you know how to wear and care for your mask, but what about when to wear? Gardner said while masks should be worn the entirety of your time in public, some exceptions apply.
Places like restaurants and bars, when you're physically drinking or eating, it's prohibitive to have a mask on and do those things, but if you're just in there socializing, you should still be wearing a mask.
At restaurants and bars, however, you can and should wear masks during periods that you aren't eating or drinking. That begs the question, why do some establishments like gyms and bowling alleys only require a mask upon entry and exit?
Part of it is, with strenuous exercise, it may not be practical to have a mask on. That may impede your ability to breathe normally as you need to with that strenuous exercise.
Gardner recommends wearing one if the activity isn't strenuous.
If I'm bowling, that's not necessarily a strenuous activity to me. I'd probably have my mask on now if I'm running on a treadmill. That's a different activity that it's going to impede my ability a little bit more. You always have to look at that balance of the well-being of the individual versus the health of the community, and that's a consideration that you take into it when you're doing it.
As we try to balance the well-being of ourselves and our community, we must remember to wear our masks properly and whenever possible.
In Great Falls, Lindsay Hyatt, MTN News.
Well, since churches reopened, services have had to take on a new format. As churchgoers attend their first service since the mask mandate this Sunday, they can expect more changes in store. However, for one church in Great Falls, Sunday service will look much the same. Alexander Temple Church of God in Christ will simply continue their efforts to keep their congregation safe. Marcus Collins said prior to the governor's announcement, the church already required attendees to wear masks. However, in order to keep their staff wearing masks as long as possible, they made some slight modifications.
We've kind of restructured services so there's less activity as far as mic usage and vocal usage. So those people that may be like singers or things like that, of course, they won't sing with a mask, or the preacher won't preach with a mask. But for all intents and purposes, people will keep their mask on for the duration of the service.
And Collins said masks will be available to those who don't have their own so they can safely enjoy the service. Well, we couldn't have asked for a better start to our weekend, and our Storm Tracker weather team is forecasting more of the same. Russ Thomas joins us now. Russ?
What a Saturday we've had across Montana. We have seen beautiful weather, a lot of sunshine. Of course, temperatures have been outstanding as well. Midsummer, certainly not bad when we're seeing mid-70s to mid-80s around the state. Lewistown, 74 degrees right now. That's comfortable. 79 degrees for Cut Bank, also in Great Falls. 83 in Helena, 78 degrees in Bozeman. Again, the warmest spot we have right now out there, 85-degree reading in Livingston, and that 84-degree temperature in Missoula. Winds, yeah, they picked up a little bit this afternoon, especially the central and eastern portion of the state. You can see mid-20s areas like Glasgow, Jordan, Glendive, Miles City. Great Falls, our wind is out of the north at 17 miles per hour. Helena out of the west at 20 miles per hour. Satellite radar around the northwest. What do we have? An upper level ridge, and you can really tell not just by the lack of precipitation, but the lack of cloud cover overall. And as we continue to move into the evening, overnight hours and Sunday, we're still going to see more of the same. That means more sunshine for your Sunday. Temperatures may be a little bit warmer. We'll have your complete forecast coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, thank you, Russ. Well, cases of coronavirus continue to increase in Montana and across the country. Over the past few days, we've seen some collegiate leagues suspend and even cancel their fall sports seasons. Meanwhile, Grizz fans continue to await a decision from the University of Montana, but MTN's Jack Ginsburg does have an update for us on a recent development that does affect the Grizz football team. Jack?
The Great Northwest Athletic Conference became the latest college league to cancel or suspend its fall sports season as they decided to fully cancel, which had impacts here at the University of Montana. The Grizz were set to host Central Washington in its home opener on September 5th right here in Washington Grizzly Stadium. That game has now officially been canceled, meaning the Grizzlies are now down to just 10 games on their fall schedule. However, the Big Sky Conference or the NCAA as a whole has yet to make a ruling on the fall sports season, so we'll see what changes transpire in the next couple of weeks or even days. Reporting in Missoula, Jack Ginsburg, MTN Sports.
All right, thank you, Jack. And you can find a letter from Athletic Director Kent Haslam to Grizz fans on our website. Coming up, at a time of social isolation, it can be easy to feel like you're struggling alone. Coming up, MTN's Annie Johnson will tell us how you can protect your mental health during a pandemic.
From Montana's news leader, you're watching the MTN 530 News.
Taking care of your physical health is now more important than ever, but so is taking care of your mental health. At a time of social isolation, it can be easy to feel like you're struggling alone. MTN's Annie Johnson has more on mental health during a pandemic.
When's the last time somebody asked you how you were doing? You probably answered them the normal, oh, I'm fine, but have you really stopped and thought about how you're doing mentally?
I have seen an increase in anxiety and depression, low motivation, kind of just struggles to sometimes just get through the day.
This clinical counselor says this pandemic has had an impact on a lot of her clients.
For starters, I think that loss of connection, of seeing people in person and being able to hug our loved ones and just our everyday lives just being kind of turned upside down. I see a lot of people kind of, again, with that low motivation, that it's like, well, what is my purpose right now? Like, what is getting me out of bed? What is motivating me?
There have been mental health concerns regarding catching the virus and social isolation, and now some people have even expressed anxiety with having to wear a face mask.
I could see how it could be anxiety provoking, and there are different skills to use to cope with that and manage it. I mean, I know the other day I was kind of feeling a little bit more anxious than usual going into a store. So I just took a moment before I put on my mask and I just did a deep breath exercise, breathe from the belly and just kind of just slowed everything down before putting my mask on. So again, I can see how it can be anxiety provoking, and there are ways to manage it.
There are several resources available for people who are struggling, including the National Suicide Hotline at 1-800-273-8255. Again, that's 1-800-273-8255. You don't have to struggle alone. Reporting in Bozeman, Annie Johnson, MTN News.
And the CDC also recommends making sure you're eating healthy, well-balanced meals, taking time to do things that you enjoy whenever you can, and utilizing social media and other technology to connect with people that you've been isolated from during the pandemic.
Coming up after the break, we're going to talk about that forecast for your Sunday looking very nice. As we move into next week, a couple hot days in there. We'll have more on that coming up after the break.
Storm Tracker weather starts now with meteorologist Russ Thomas.
Welcome back. I hope you've had a wonderful Saturday. What a great way to start the weekend. Sunshine temperatures. We're not talking about those hot numbers we often see in July. Very comfortable out there. Look at the sky. Beautiful blue, Great Falls. Looking over the city right now. This afternoon, it is gorgeous out there. And again, we're going to continue to see weather just like this for Sunday and moving into next week as well. I think you're going to continue to like what you see. Moving a little bit off to the south of West Helena, we've got that sunshine as well. Again, beautiful blue sky out there. Great day to be outdoors, great day to hike, just whatever you can do. Find some water maybe to jump into, cool off a little bit, although again, it's not all that hot. Again, Great Falls 79 right now, Helena 83 degrees, Missoula at 84, a little cooler, Lewistown 74 right now, 79 degrees, and Havre also 79 Cut Bank. And again, around the state, one thing you're going to notice, no area where it's really all that hot. These numbers are a little bit cooler to right about at normal for this time of year. Now, there is going to be a period coming up where those numbers are going to drive up a little bit, but that's not the case today, not going to be the case tomorrow either. Tomorrow going to be very similar to today. Wind speeds, yeah, they're gusting out there. A lot of areas at least 20 miles per hour with those winds or higher. In fact, much of the state, western Montana, southwest Montana, not quite as breezy, but overall, again, those wind speeds ranging from about 20 to 30 around the state. Looking around the country, a couple areas that stand out in terms of having showers. You got Colorado stretching down through New Mexico, Texas with some showers, but the one area we're finding a little bit of more active weather, that's in the southeastern portion of the United States, especially around Charlotte, North Carolina, moving up toward Raleigh and along the coastline there again in the Carolinas. Here in our state, our region, nothing happening. We've got an upper level ridge, very strong. It's in place. It's going to hold for the next several days. In fact, really start to center itself over the region as we head into the middle part of the week, and that's going to drive those temperatures up. Here's what we have with our future track. Again, maybe a couple showers, thunderstorms tomorrow afternoon just south of Havre. But for the most part, it is going to be a dry day tomorrow. It is going to be another sunny to mostly sunny day tomorrow. Overnight lows, again, a lot of areas just down in the 40s and 50s out there. Tomorrow afternoon's highs, we're looking at upper 70s, low 80s in many spots across not just western Montana, but the entire state. Here's what we've got for you. Great Falls, 82 tomorrow. Mostly sunny in Helena, 82 degrees, 78. Beautiful day in Lewistown. So again, those numbers, fantastic. What is tomorrow? July 19th. Typically, we're getting to the very hottest time of the year, the last couple weeks in July, the first couple weeks in August, and we're looking at numbers upper 70s, low 80s. That feels really good. Again, we'll see a little bit of a warm up though coming later in the week. As we move into your Monday, another nice day. Again, maybe a few showers there. Northern regions, that's about it. 7-day forecast shaping up like this. We'll follow up our 82 on Sunday with an 80 and sunshine on Monday. Then we take that jump. Look what happens on Tuesday. Ridge settles in, sets up more over our area. That gives us a high of 90 degrees. That's not going to be your hottest day. Wednesday and Thursday, 94 and 93. Every day featuring sunshine, overnight lows, 50s, low 60s. But again, those daytime temperatures Tuesday right through Friday, low to mid 90s. Couple showers, maybe a stray shower possible Thursday and Friday. That's about it. Helena, quick look at your 7-day forecast. 82 tomorrow, 83 Monday, 89 a hotter day Tuesday. That sunshine will continue Wednesday, Thursday, low 90s. Back into the mid to upper 80s Friday, Saturday. Best chance of showers comes on Friday.
All right, thank you, Russ. Civil rights icon and Georgia Congressman John Lewis died last night at the age of 80. Lewis served 33 years in the U.S. House of Representatives, played a critical role in the civil rights movement, and helped change history. Skylar Henry has more on the life and legacy of a civil rights icon.
Congressman John Lewis dedicated his life to civil rights and nonviolent activism.
Your voice is your vote.
Lewis was a trusted friend of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. As one of the original Freedom Riders, he suffered severe beatings while challenging segregation laws. When the Civil Rights Act of 1964 met resistance in the South, Lewis and Hosea Williams led hundreds of black voters on a 54-mile march from Selma to Montgomery, Alabama.
When we were marching across that bridge, just simple saying people wanted to register to vote, wanted to participate in the democratic process.
The marchers got as far as the foot of the Edmund Pettus Bridge.
Turn around and disperse.
And they came toward us, beating us with nightsticks, using tear gas and trampling us with horses.
That day went down in history as Bloody Sunday. 2 weeks later, Lewis and hundreds more, including Dr. King, completed the march to Montgomery. Lewis was born near Troy, Alabama in 1940. He attended American Baptist Theological Seminary and later graduated from Fisk University in Nashville with degrees in religion and philosophy. He was elected chairman of the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee in 1963.
I wanted to make a contribution. I didn't like the signs that said white only, colored only.
At 23, Lewis was the youngest speaker at the March on Washington, where Dr. King delivered his I Have a Dream speech. His passion for people and racial reconciliation brought him to the halls of Congress.
I'm John Lewis, running for Congress.
Lewis won Georgia's 5th District congressional seat in 1986.
Yes, I'm proud to be a liberal Democrat. I stand with the people.
He received numerous awards throughout his life, including the Presidential Medal of Freedom. Congressman Lewis and President Barack Obama led thousands across the Edmund Pettus Bridge to commemorate the 50th anniversary of Bloody Sunday in 2015. But he clashed with President Obama's successor, boycotting President Donald Trump's inauguration. And on the 50th anniversary of Martin Luther King Jr.'s assassination, Lewis asked Americans to step up.
When you see something that is not right, something that is not fair, something that is not just, you have a moral obligation to say something, to do something.
A principle he lived by, earning his reputation as the conscience of the U.S. Congress. Skyler Henry, CBS News, Washington.
Lewis was also an author. His latest work was a series of comic books called March, which told the story of his life and his fight for equal rights. Today, Governor Steve Bullock ordered all flags flown in the state to be displayed at half-staff in memory of the life of Representative John Lewis. We'll be right back.
From Montana's news leader, you're watching the MTN 530 News.
Earlier today, Last Chance Raceway in Helena hosted their 3rd annual Tumbleweed Trial. This motorcycle trial focuses more on balance as opposed to speed. MTN's Lexi Aguayo has that story.
I'd say it's the most fun you could have at 3 miles an hour.
A competition that makes you go over rocks and other obstacles without stopping.
It's like golf, so if you don't want to get points, if you put your foot down, you're going to get a point. You can put your foot down up to 3 times and still make it through the section, you'll get 3 points. If you stall or fall down or roll backwards, that's 5 points, and obviously 5 points is way worse than 1 point. So you want to try your best to get through the section clean, don't put your foot down and get a 0. That would be the best possible score for that section.
Before beginning each section, competitors are allowed to walk through it to plan how to maneuver through the obstacles. Paul and his wife compete in motorcycle trials like this one to share memories, but they also say it is great exercise.
I mean, it's a lot of exercise. You don't think it's exercise, but you're moving around on the bike. There's a lot of balance, muscle control. So
there is a mental side to the sport as well.
Trials definitely has a little bit more of a mental mind game to it because you're gonna fail. It's going to happen. If you're riding the right class, you're not going to clean every section, and that's half the fun of it, is making a mistake, looking at where you made the mistake, and adjusting to not make the same mistake next time.
In Helena, I'm Lexi Aguayo, MTN News.
That annual competition is one of only a few of its kind in Montana. Last week, we learned about the popularity of biking during the coronavirus pandemic. Now residents in Great Falls have a place close by to hone their skills. MTN's Isaiah Dunk takes us to the new River's Edge Skills Trail.
Well, it's clear that biking is an extremely popular activity during COVID-19 with so much demand that there's a bike shortage. And with that popularity, the timing couldn't have been better for the city of Great Falls to open the brand new River's Edge Skills Trail. The course is just off the 67th Street trailhead northeast of town. It's been open for more than a week, but on Saturday there was a welcome event with a barbecue and raffle prizes. Trails coordinator Stefan Janikula said the whole project only cost about $1,000 and it mostly used repurposed materials.
For the mountain bike community here in town, I've been kicking around the idea of a bike trail such as this for about 2 years now. And the pieces just finally got put together. We started construction on it in the fall. And I'm really happy with the way the course turned out, and I know the mountain bikers are happy.
The course is a gentle half-mile downhill with plenty of variety. Rollers, bank turns, tabletops, teeter-totters, and skinnies. Chris Stee of Shields worked with Janikula on the development of the course, and he said the design is great for those just getting started and even intermediate riders.
For first-time riders, if they're traveling 6-7 miles to go for a bike ride out into the prairie here, and they don't have those skills, they'll get discouraged, they could possibly get hurt. So we wanted to have someplace closer they could practice, other riders could meet them there and kind of show them the finer points of the balance and obstacle avoidance. I'm a fairly intermediate rider and I have a good time out here riding on this, so this is just right.
Those who showed up on Saturday got tips and pointers, but the course is open for bikers at any time. Just make sure to follow all the rules that apply to the rest of the River's Edge Trail. Now this is just phase one. Janikula and Steve would love to expand with steeper terrain later, but for now there's a little bit for everyone. In Great Falls, Isaiah Dunk, MTN News.
Oh, if you see Isaiah, tell him we miss him and come back to Great Falls. We're back with one final look at your weather forecast after this break.
We'll look at our 7-day forecast for Great Falls. Again, looking beautiful tomorrow, 82 degrees, very similar to today, 80 on Monday. Then we ramp it up a little bit. Those temperatures Tuesday through Friday, highs in the low to mid 90s with a very slim chance of a shower on Thursday and Friday.
All right, thanks, Russ, and thank you for watching. We'll see you back here at 10 o'clock.